Okay, so best practices, or the way that we will frequently do it when we're working with clients. And I'm going to walk through my backup strategy that I start with. But it's one of those things that, depending on the system, depending on how much change you have, depending on how big your databases are, this may change a little bit. But generally, the philosophy is we will take a full backup weekly, differential backups daily, and transaction logs. Some people say hourly, but I like to do transaction logs every 5 minutes or every 10 minutes, depending on the specific case there. And what that does is that makes it so that if those backups are being moved off of that server and that server just completely dies, it makes it so that we can get it back. And if we're doing 5 minute log backups with losing only as much as 5 minutes worth of data. Sometimes we'll set that to 2 minutes, depending on what the specific business needs are. But what that means is that we can do that recovery and get them back to any point in time during the day based off of that. Because we're doing the full backups weekly, that's the big ones. We can keep, if previously we could keep 5 days worth of backups, maybe instead we keep 4 weeks worth of full backups. You add in the differentials and the transaction logs, and you might be taking up less space than you were taking originally with those 5 days worth of full backups. And you have an entire month's worth of options to be able to restore to any point in time. Okay. Now, the other thing with that is we like to be able to use immutable backups, or backups that can't be modified. Meaning, once SQL Server writes that backup to some protected location, if ransomware comes along later, it can't get that and change it or attack it in some way. And one of the things we also like to do is to make sure that we can get those backups off of the current server as quickly as possible. If you're doing all these backups on your local server and that server gets destroyed for some reason, the virtual machine goes bad or whatever it may be, or ransomware, if those backups are stored on that computer, well, they're gone too, and you're totally out of luck. So it's really important to get those backups off of the current server into somewhere like a backup storage appliance, or somewhere like long-term cloud, blob storage, things like that. Now, the other thing that's really important when you're running backups is also to run CheckDB regularly, preferably daily if you can, so that you know that what you're backing up is not a corrupt database. Now, we do a lot of corruption repair at Stedman Solutions. One of the things that we come across regularly is that somebody has corruption in their database, and we find out that that corruption may have been there for 7 or 8 months, and every one of those backups that they have, it contains the corruption. So there's a lot of options to repair a corrupt database if you have good backups, but not knowing if you have a corrupt database or not makes it really difficult to do that repair. So whatever your retention period is, you should have CheckDB running frequently enough that you know the database is not corrupt.
Thanks for watching. I'm Steve, and I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you like it, please click the thumbs up icon. And if you want to subscribe, click subscribe to our channel and click the bell icon to get notified when we have new videos. All right, have a great day.